Hello guys, and welcome to a brand new video from me, Pickles Parker Reviews. Today I'm going to be doing a kind of follow-up video to the trailer reaction roundup video I did a couple of months back for Spider-Man Far From Home, the sequel to 2017's Spider-Man Homecoming. In that trailer I said there were 4 villains, that we could see at least. One was quite obvious. It was Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. Now, prior to this trailer coming out and the announcement of Mysterio, there were rumours that Jake Gyllenhaal was cast as Mysterio, and I kind of did a video last year, kind of saying my thoughts on the inclusion of this character and why Mysterio is actually one of my favourite Spider-Man villains, and kind of speculating if it could be Quentin Beck or Garrison Klum. But I realised that I never really explained the villains that I kind of thought were in this trailer. You know, the 3 others, which I identified as Hydro Man, Molten Man, and Sandman. However, I was scrolling Wikipedia recently, and I was looking at the cast and realised that actually those 3 villains in the trailer aren't who I thought they were. Now actually, it has been confirmed that these 3 are not Molten Man, Hydro Man, or Sandman, yet are a group of people called the Elementals. Elementals include Hellfire, Hydron, Magnum, and Zephyr, and these are, like the name suggests, elemental powered supervillains. However, they're not that well known, and they seem, in this film anyway, just to kind of serve as big things for Peter to fight. And this kind of gives us an indication of the plot, which is that, you know, Mysterio will be creating these, most likely to pose as a hero. Now, I heard that rumour, and I wasn't really sure, because I thought, why would Mysterio create these villains if they are obviously Hydro Man, Molten Man, and Sandman, you know, villains in their own right. But as they're the Elementals, this proves that this theory is actually probably more plausible. I was a bit disappointed that they're using the Elementals rather than these other characters. Now, people may say, why? Why did you want more Spider-Man villains in this film? Because obviously a big thread with Spider-Man villains is too many villains. Spider-Man 3, you've got Sandman, you've got Venom, you've got Spider-Man as Venom, you know, you've got the New Goblin. There's too many villains in that film, and it just feels crowded. Venom was the thing that was most advertised, but ultimately it just feels undercooked because of everything else that just has to be fitted into that movie. In Spider-Man 2, I like that movie, but ultimately it does feel like a bit of a feature-length trailer for the Sinister Six. You've got Electro in there, you've got Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin in there, you've got Rhino for 2 seconds, you've got Black Cat just randomly named, you've got, you know, all of that stuff that you see at the end, you know, basically trying to build hype for the Sinister Six film that never happened, such as Vulture's wings, Doc Ock's arms. Yes, and many complaints about the Spider-Man films that haven't had such critical acclaim have been because there have been too many villains. Therefore, I did think it was an odd idea that they were going for many villains in this film. However, as a big Spider-Man fan, I just really want to see as many different villains we can on the big screen, having a film adaptation, and I'd really love to see a film with multiple villains work, because obviously Mysterio is going to be the main villain, but I don't really see a problem with having Hydro Man or Molten Man or Sandman, you know, as a kind of smaller villain there. Perhaps Sandman wouldn't have been the best choice because he is a main rogue in, you know, the Spider-Man, you know, Rose Gallery, but, you know, having Hydro Man or Molten Man in there who perhaps aren't the most well-known or, you know, A-grade villains, possibly more B-grade villains, you know, having them, you know, still be in this movie. Similar to what they did with Spider-Man Homecoming. Vulture's very much the main villain, but then you've also got Jackson Bryce and Herman Stoltz, you know, 2 shockers. You've also got Phineas Mason, the Tinkerer, in there as well. You know, you've got, like, 3-4 Spider-Man villains in the film, but they all gel really well. I really thought they could have done this in this film, and as a big Spider-Man fan, I just really would have loved to see these villains get their film adaptations. To be honest, with these Elementals, their powers are basically the same as these villains. So you've got Hellfire, he's basically just Molten Man. His abilities are literally the same as Molten Man. With Hydron, he's the same as Hydro Man. The same with Magnum, he is basically Sandman. Zephyr, the one we didn't see in the trailer, you know, basically has the ability to control wind and air. So why don't you pull Whirlwind, another Spider-Man villain, could easily be put in there. The only problem is Zephyr is a female, Whirlwind is obviously a male. But I don't think too many people would mind if they had a gender swap. I wouldn't really if they were to still keep it a female, or they may not. But I just would love to see Whirlwind, you know, in this film, as well as Hydro Man, Molten Man and Sandman. As just such a big Spider-Man fan, I just really would have loved to see these villains, as well as Mysterio, you know, get their big screen adaptation, because it seems something that I'm loving this MCU Spider-Man verse is that, you know, you're getting, you know, all these different villains that haven't had, you know, on-screen adaptations. You know, we've already seen the Vulture, you know, 2 Shockers, you know, the Tinkerer, the Scorpion was another one I forgot who's in Homecoming, you know, the Scorpion in there as well, and then we're getting Mysterio, and I just think if you kept on, we could have had some really great, you know, comic book adaptations of villains who don't necessarily need to be in bigger roles, but it just went really nice. And I love that these Spider-Man series was taking, you know, villains that haven't had their time to shine and putting them on screen, similar to what I thought the Amazing Spider-Man series was going to do, until it then picked on the Goblin and then showed all that 6-6, you know, there. We have had a lot of Spider-Man villains on screen. You know, we've got the Norman Osborn, you know, Green Goblin, we've got, you know, Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 2, then we've got Harry Osborn Goblin, you know, we've got Sandman in Spider-Man 3, we've got Venom in Spider-Man 3, then skip to the Amazing Spider-Man, we've got the Lizard, you know, then we've got Electro in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, then we've got Harry Osborn again as the Goblin, but then we've also got Rhino and Black Cat for some reason, and then skip to Homecoming, we've got Scorpion, Vulture, Shocker, Tinkerer, and now we've got Mysterio. I think what the Spider-Man movies really do well is using a variety of villains. A lot of people say they're just sticking with the Goblin, but apart from the Goblin, you know, the Spider-Man villains, you don't really see a repeated, you know, set of Spider-Man villains used like you get with someone like Superman or Batman. What I really like with the Spider-Man films is just, you know, the variety of villains we see, and they're never really sticking to one. Every single, you know, villain seems to be getting a fair crack of the whip. There's not many villains that we have not yet seen on screen with Spider-Man. Obviously, you've got Molten Man, Hydro Man, Whirlwind, as I already said. You know, you've got like your Jekylls and your Cravens and people like that, but ultimately I don't think there's that many, you know, villains that we are yet to see in Spider-Man films. Therefore, I would have really loved if we got Molten Man and Hydro Man getting their first big screen adaptations in this film. So those are some other Spider-Man villains that we have seen on screen, and then we're creating a big rogues gallery, obviously not in the same universes, and they obviously won't collide, but obviously we're getting a step closer to seeing on-screen adaptations of every single one of Spider-Man's main villains. So that would have been really cool to see. Not the Elementals, I'm sure they'll be serviceable, but and I said, you know, that kind of gives us more clues to the plot, but with me, I'm just a bit disappointed, because I would have really loved to see more, you know, well, not main, but, you know, more well-known and traditional Spider-Man villains in this film that haven't been on screen, yet we're going with these guys. Yes, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and drop a sub and hit that notification bell to stay notified for all my latest videos. Are you excited for Spider-Man Far From Home? And are you happy that they're using the Elementals in this film, or would have you preferred for them to use Sandman, Hydro Man, Molten Man and possibly Whirlwind instead? Yes, thank you guys for watching, and of course, a goodbye.